Fox 61 News at 5 starts now.
I'm still amazed that I'm alive and that actually happened.
Now at 5, a fatal wrong-way crash on I-91 involving a car and a tractor trailer. We're hearing exclusively from the Uber driver who was just behind the tractor trailer when it happened, who says he's grateful to be alive.
So this is totally rigged. It's an absolute total fraud.
A shocking turn of events today in the Alex Jones trial, with Jones not taking the stand as planned. Our cameras were there, though, when he left the courtroom.
Plus, a string of burglaries hit in one town in just a matter of hours. How the business's owners are reacting to the incidents.
And local leaders are bringing aid to Puerto Rico as they recover from Hurricane Fiona. What they're doing to help the island coming up.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. 2 people are dead after a wrong-way crash early this morning on I-91 in Windsor. The collision caused part of the highway to shut down, leading to traffic being backed up for hours.
Fox 61's Carmen Chow spoke exclusively to an Uber driver who witnessed the aftermath of that crash just seconds after it happened. And she joins us live now in studio here with the story. Carmen.
Brent and Sarah, this Uber driver was right behind the tractor trailer that collided with the wrong-way driver. He says he did not see the actual crash happen, but saw a plume of smoke from afar, and that's how he knew something extremely bad happened.
It was kind of a gray-orange kind of smoke, and it almost looked like steam that was coming up.
Frederick Beimler, an Uber driver, was heading north on I-91 in Windsor shortly after 12:30 a.m. He says he was about a quarter of a mile away from the tractor trailer when all of a sudden things took a turn for the worst.
I had seen a bunch of smoke in front of the truck, and then the truck go literally sideways across the highway, blocking the whole highway.
Take a look at this video captured by another Uber driver's dash cam. It shows the wrong-way driver speeding by seconds before crashing into the tractor trailer. The 2 people in the wrong-way car were instantly killed. State police identifying them as Nicole Dominique Loisel and James Bowen, both 25 years old and from Massachusetts. Beimler pulled over immediately and called 911. He showed us these photos of the aftermath, the moment leaving him speechless.
I just sat in the airport parking lot for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, and just tried to grasp the whole thing and put it through my head that I just barely escaped death.
Beimler says he is so grateful to live to see another day.
If I had stayed at that charging station, say, 2 or 3 minutes less, then that would be me.
State Police Sergeant Christine Geltima offering this piece of advice to drivers.
So we encourage people traveling between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. to utilize the right lane or the center lane. We know that wrong-way drivers tend to believe that the left lane is the right lane since they are traveling the wrong way.
According to state police, as of January of this year to this morning, troopers have responded to 310 wrong-way drivers. 15 of them had injuries, 10 of them were fatal, 6 had no injuries, and at least 1 was driving under the influence of drugs and/or alcohol. Now, the driver of the tractor trailer only suffered minor injuries, but state police say if you do have photos or dash cam video, they would like to see it. You can contact Trooper Dean at 860-534-1098. We'll also have that information posted for you on fox61.com and on the Fox 61 News app. Carmen Chow, Fox 61 News.
That's harrowing, Carmen. Thank you. But the Alex Jones trial continued today, and in a shocking change of plans, Jones did not take the stand.
His attorney, Norm Pattis, is calling it a strategic decision for the defense after a heated exchange to end court yesterday.
Fox 61's Lindsay Kane is in Waterbury with the details.
It was shocking to say the least. Just like we saw on Tuesday, Alex Jones walking into the courtroom and then minutes later walking back out. But today he says he, quote, didn't need to testify because he says the family's lawyer, Chris Maddie, quote, completely destroyed himself at the end of court yesterday during a heated exchange.
Because the plaintiff's lawyers crapped the bed. The plaintiff's lawyers just got completely out of control. Any other lawyer would have been arrested. My lawyer would have been arrested if he screamed for 5 minutes and ignored what the judge said.
He's referring to what happened yesterday in the courtroom when Maddie pointed to the families and asked if they're real. This in response to claims that they were actors. Maddie raising his voice at Jones, Pattis yelling to object, and the families wiping away tears. Now today, Jones says he will come back to testify next week when it's his portion of the trial where his defense can ask him questions and he feels he has more room to speak. There are several topics Jones is barred from speaking on or he risks being held in contempt. Pattis argues the family's lawyers were baiting him, knowing he can't speak on topics like making money off of his Sandy Hook lies. It's unclear exactly when Jones is set to testify next week. He says sometime next week, maybe midweek. Now we'll keep you updated on air, online, and of course on Fox 61 Plus as we continue to cover what's happening outside and of course inside the courtroom. In Waterbury, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61 News.
And of course, as we heard there, Alex Jones was expected to testify today, but he didn't. So whose decision was it ultimately? Fox 61's Matt Caron joins us live from outside Waterbury Superior Court to break down the stunning new developments and to explain why the jury was dismissed early. Matt, what happened?
Yeah, that's right, guys. Another wild day in the Alex Jones defamation trial when Jones literally derailed the entire day's proceedings from the outside in when he held a press conference here on the steps of the court, a press conference in which the plaintiff's attorneys said that Jones, quote, continued his efforts to undermine the trial. Day 8 in the Alex Jones trial, a bombshell announcement. Jones would not be testifying.
That was my decision.
Citing Thursday's end-of-the-day courtroom implosion.
Now, I've already apologized to the parents over and over again. I don't apologize to you.
Objection.
Don't apologize to you.
Attorney Norm Pattis called it strategic.
We thought it was vicious and uncalled for and gratuitous.
But at the same time, the plaintiff's attorneys called for a recess to determine how they'd orchestrate the rest of the day.
We would like some time.
Jones gave another impromptu press conference on the courthouse steps.
It's Chris Maddie, crap the bed.
While some members of the jury left the confines of the courthouse.
Do you know if the jurors stayed in the building or not?
No, 4 jurors went out.
The court, concerned that these jurors may have been exposed to Jones's outdoor antics, adjourned.
You can have a seat, but don't get too comfortable.
But not before Judge Bellis gave another explicit warning not to taint their objectivity.
If anyone in your lives, family, friend, whatever, approaches you and says, you know, you actually can do independent research, I am here to tell you that you may not.
With the jury gone, the judge and attorney stayed on the record to handle more administrative issues, including the context of Jones's comments, where he called out the attorneys and members of their families.
Maddie's father, who's a famous lawyer, chewed him out and screamed at him in there yesterday after what he did.
Did it constitute a security risk to the law firm? Conclusion, no.
So I think we can move on from this issue.
And in one of the day's most dramatic moments, Judge Bellis threatened to sanction attorney Pattis.
I do not want to find an attorney. I have gone almost 2 decades as a judge and never had to do that.
After shutting down his rant.
May I please be heard?
No,
may I be heard?
No,
because I'll do it on the courthouse steps under 3.6b if I have to.
Making good on that promise.
I was deeply disturbed by the court's unwillingness to permit me to make this record, so I've gone to the extraordinary lengths of appealing to the public.
His beef, an admittedly erroneous tweet from a journalist, a tweet that was deleted by the reporter with an apology issued. All right, and in relation to the issue of the jury here, we should mention that every juror has a notebook. Every day they're asked to write down any concerning jury behavior that they may come across. Nothing's been written down in those notebooks. They're reviewed every day. We also learned yesterday that there was an alternate juror that had to be excused by the judge due to extenuating financial circumstances. Now, although Alex Jones did not take the stand today, this won't be the last time we see him. He's going to be back in court next week, we think Wednesday or Thursday. We also learned today that this trial overall is on an accelerated timeline. It was supposed to be maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Now they're thinking it could wrap up by mid-October. Court begins again after a long weekend on Tuesday. We're live here outside Waterbury Superior Court. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
All right, Matt, thank you. Turning to the weather now, it was the first full day of fall, and it felt fully like fall, right? I mean, It's chilly.
Absolutely.
Cool, right? Yeah.
Meteorologist Ryan Breton joining us here now. Yeah, Ryan, for some of us fall lovers, though, it felt great.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the cooler air, guys. It was that wind, which we really haven't had much of at all yet this season. You can see looking out over from Rattlesnake Mountain in Farmington, where our transmitter is, looking toward Hartford. It's a nice clear sky, but you can see some of the tops of the trees there waving in the wind. We're gusting to 32 miles per hour in Meriden and Groton, a 30-mile-per-hour wind gust in Hartford, and a 26-mile-per-hour gust in New Haven. We're still 61 in both Hartford and New Haven, but a lot of the state now dipping into the 50s, and with a clear sky, it's going to get cool quickly. So if you're headed out tonight, plan on temperatures dropping from the 50s into the 40s in many spots by tomorrow morning. The wind will lighten up a little bit as we get toward daybreak, and that will allow temperatures, I think, in the coolest spots in northeast Connecticut to actually drop into the upper 30s first thing in the morning. We've got a beauty of a day ahead Saturday, more sunshine ahead, just a few clouds mixing in during the afternoon. A breezy day, but a little bit warmer. High temperatures in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. We may have a few showers or even a thunderstorm on Sunday. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, developing news out of Manchester, where police say they've located the driver and the vehicle involved in a hit and run where a police officer was hit. Police say that officer was directing traffic in the area of Charter Oak and Main Street. The officer suffered minor injuries and was taken to the hospital as a precaution. We're waiting for an update from police on the driver involved.
A Greenwich resident has tested positive for West Nile virus. We're told that resident is in their 80s and became sick at the end of August. This is the 4th human case of West Nile in the state this year. Those cases confirmed in Fairfield, New Haven, and Litchfield counties. And new tonight, an Ansonia man is accused of abusing his 6-week-old baby. Police saying 36-year-old Lamar Haney admitted to injuring the child. The baby is currently being treated at Yale New Haven Hospital for a brain bleed, fractured ribs, a lacerated liver, and other injuries as well. Haney is being held on $100,000 bond.
2 Maryland men are charged with trafficking thousands of fentanyl pills into Connecticut. According to the Department of Justice, Oscar Flores and Severo Aguilar arrived in Wethersfield on September 8th to sell 15,000 fentanyl pills. They sold them to an undercover DEA agent. The agent told the men they needed to go to another location to pick up the money. And when driving to that location, a Rocky Hill officer pulled them over and discovered numerous Skittles and Nerds candy bags with the pills inside. Both are now facing multiple charges.
And new tonight, Senator Richard Blumenthal is calling on M&T Bank to compensate customers who were affected by their merger with People's United Bank. Blumenthal has also recently called on the Federal Reserve to investigate the merger after new M&T customers complained that they are not able to access their accounts, have endured long wait times and delays in payment processing, and did not receive adequate customer support. Blumenthal saying in a statement, all customers who were unable to access their funds during the conversion should receive some appropriate financial remuneration for the inconvenience, as well as an apology.